Dawa Group, under the leadership of its founders, Dr. Mohindra and Dr. Patel, has distinguished itself as a leading pharmaceutical company in Africa, worthy of celebration. A radiologist by training, Raju's cultural background meant he had a flair for trading and marketing, a trait which has influenced his success and that of the Dawa Group. Dr. Patel, who is also a chemist by training, has a family history of retail trading that dates back to 1948.
I think going back into 1995, myself or my family actually thought of venturing into a new business at that time. I was a qualified radiologist running a group practices in diagnostic radiology, and we felt we need to do something else.
My family, my father first came to Kenya in 1948 as a pharmacist. So we've been in the pharmaceutical business, and then we had a good retail outlet. So I was very up to date with what was happening in the market.
We had the manpower, we had the vision of doing something bigger. Myself and my brother and my mother actually went into dealing with surgicals. We started traveling in the country, going around seeing pharmacies, looking at the opportunities.
It was a growing market. It was controlled by very few players in the market, mainly the multinationals. Companies from India and China had not come into the country. And of course, Dr. Raju being in the medical field, and we grew up together in the small town in Thika, we were always looking for ideas to see what we can do, being young.
In those days, I think both local manufacturing was at a disadvantage and importation. So we decided to start off with the importation. That is how Medicel actually started, and we went into importation of pharmaceuticals and surgical items. And then it grew from there into a full-blown organization.
In 1994, the two friends and business partners established Medicel and have steered it from its humble beginnings as a trader of pharmaceutical supplies into a global conglomerate manufacturing and supplying their own line of products.
Obviously, we had financial limitations because I was a doctor working a radiological practice, so both time and money were a constraint. My partner had a chemist, which was running a retail chemist, and my wife was working with PwC and actually quit her job to join us. So we had financial limitations, we had space limitations. We started in the background of a small flat, in a residential flat. We couldn't afford even our own vehicles, so we used to borrow people's cars to do the logistics and supplies. Manpower, we didn't have the skill set, but luckily all put us together, we sacrificed. So I guess that's another building block of our business, was a lot of sacrifice was put in the organization.
At the turn of the 21st century, Medicel began brand importation from China and India.
In year 2000 is when companies in India started approaching us, that why don't you start looking at some of the branded products similar to what multinationals are doing. So that's the idea. So basically we started that in the year 2000, and we felt that again, coming back to quality and affordability, it did play a big role in capturing a market where the patient does require good medicine but cannot afford it.
Subsequently, they acquired Dawa Pharmaceuticals, which was a joint-run business between the Kenya and Yugoslavia governments, and thereafter became known as Dawa Limited.
Dawa Pharmaceuticals was started actually by a vision of His Excellency, our first President Jomo Kenyatta, and the President of Yugoslavia, Tito. Our President at that time, His Excellency Jomo Kenyatta, wanted local manufacturing of pharmaceuticals for his local people. And luckily Tito sent in Yugoslav manpower. The company did very well for the first, I think, from the early 70s to the 80s, built big brands, and the manufacturing process went well. Then, as any other government organization and business, they don't go hand in hand. The business went into receivership. So in the year 2004, we took over Dawa Pharmaceuticals. We converted the name to Dawa. Dawa meaning medicine in Swahili, in many, I think, Indian languages, and had already established a name in many parts of Africa.
Medical was growing, but we felt that we wanted to expand our market. There was a certain range of products where we couldn't import from overseas because of the expenses, especially the liquid bottles, liquid medicines, as well as we couldn't supply to local NGOs, non-governmental organizations. We couldn't supply to the government. We couldn't export. So those are the markets that we felt we wanted to get into, and Dawa gave us the opportunity to venture into that market.
The machinery was all old because already it had done its first life cycle of at least 20-25 years. So we knew when we came in, we had to invest. The infrastructure, the land you're sitting on today, which is about 16 acres of land with basic offices, was there. We brought in a lot of new technology, a lot of new machinery, a lot of new manpower, and built from there to where we are. Interestingly, today, if you went to Malawi, the largest market share of pharmaceutical supplies would be from Dawa. Proudly, you go to any pharmacy in Malawi, and I think over 60% of the stock would be from Dawa and Medicel.
Starting out with 2 other employees and with limited business, a product at a time, the founders have seen Dawa grow in leaps and bounds.
Back then it was a small organization, though we didn't have the departments fragmented in so many ways. We worked as a family, so yes, so decisions, we did not have strategic levels of decisions, so decisions were made there and then. Comparing it to now, I think now we are more professional, and a lot of people have been employed to help the strategy move forward, which is, I think, a very good thing. The company has matured throughout the ages.
By 2017, in addition to the manufacturing of human pharmaceutical products, the company invested in and expanded its animal health division. This was after early investments in chemicals production and real estate, in a bid to diversify revenue streams and enjoy other benefits such as cash flow stability and good locations for future expansion. Operating from their base in Kenya, Dr. Raju Mohindra, together with Dr. Ajay Patel and the entire Dawa team, look forward to expanding into 25 markets across the continent in the next decade and to becoming a reference pharmaceutical company on the continent.
We want to put up a new state-of-the-art pharmaceutical factory on this current site. So as we're going, we're evolving, looking at, again, a best practice from Europe. We've brought in different experts and different systems as we mature.
And that's the best part, because they brought in, like what you say, a fresh breath of air, new ideas, new way of thinking. And we're all committed. So once we're on a path, you take that path. There will definitely be hurdles, but you have to see how to overcome it.
But I guess it's a lot of interaction with people and looking forward to new ideas, all from the youth to the elderly. We thank all of you. We thank all the partnerships we've had.
Customers, suppliers, for standing by us through all sorts of good times and bad times. Of course, even the government bodies and everyone who's been associated with us. And I would say that because of our strategies we're going to create Dawa as a reference company in pharmaceuticals in this region. So we're looking forward to that.
The journey is far from over, and the future for Dawa Group is shaping up nicely. The potential abounds and the legacy continues.